So Trump met with Zelensky in New York. Zelensky being the
Ukrainian president.
correct. And so this is how the meeting went.
I ain't supposed to be fighting a war or something. Why he over there?
Is this
Okay. Yes.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have the president with us. And he's been through a lot. He's been through a tremendous amount, like probably nobody else, almost nobody else in history, if you really get right down to it. And we're going to have a discussion and see what we can come up with. But great honor to have you with
Thank you
us.
so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you so much for this meeting. Five years passed.
Yeah.
So we had meeting again here in New York in September, and now there are a lot of challenges in Ukraine, United States, and of course I want to discuss with you. I think where we are together, I think we have common view that the war in Ukraine has to be stopped and Putin can't win, and Ukrainians have to prevail, and I want to discuss with you the details of our plan of victory.
My honor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have a question for the president? Anybody?
Why did you decide to meet?
I think it's me or to both us. Okay, thank you so much. First of all, it's very important to share all the plan, all our steps, how we can strengthen Ukraine. And of course, we have to decide it now, because after November, we don't know who is, only Americans decide who will be the president. But we understand that till November, we can't stop Putin. We have to do it. We will try on the battlefield with our heroic soldiers. And we understand that after November, we have to decide. And we hope that the strength of United States will be very strong, and we count on it. That's why I decided to meet with both candidates with all honor to them. Thank you.
Mr. President. Yeah, Mr. President Trump. So what are your expectations about this meeting? So what I expect to hear from the President Zelenskyy, and what are your expectations?
Say it a little louder, please.
What are your expectations from this meeting? What do you expect to hear from Mr.
Nothing.
President?
Look, this is a meeting, and we have a big race going on right now. I guess 37 days left, and we're leading in the polls, and so we'll see how it all works out. Hopefully it'll work out, but if it does, we're going to work very much with both parties to try and get this settled and get it worked out. It has to end at some point. It has to end. He's gone through hell, and his country has gone through hell like few countries have ever, like it's happened anywhere. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's a terrible situation. And I will say I have had a great relationship. It was very honorable. I don't even know if you know this, but when they did the impeachment hoax, it was a hoax, just a Democrat hoax, which we won. But one of the reasons we won it so easily is that when the president was asked, it was over a phone call with the president, and he said he could have grandstanded and played cute, but he didn't do that. He said, President Trump did absolutely nothing wrong. He said it loud and clear, and the impeachment hoax died right there. He could have said, well, I don't know, I don't know. And I never even told you this, to be honest, but he was like a piece of steel. He said President Trump did nothing wrong.
so he goes on to basically say and highlight how he has a good relationship with Putin, and he got a good relationship with Zelensky, as he's showing right now, and that if elected president, before he even takes office, that he should be able to broker a deal between the two of them in order to get this war resolved. Now, my question then becomes, A, do you think that he can actually get this done? And then B, well, A, do you actually think it can get done? And then I'll ask y'all B afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, that was the reason why I never got into the whole Russia thing, because when Trump was in office, he had a good working relationship. Not that he likes these people, right? Because a lot of people keep using, oh well, if you can talk to somebody that is supposedly your enemy, then you must like him. No, he has a mutual respect for these other leaders because they're leaders. So he's able to talk to them even when he doesn't agree. And when I saw this earlier, I did a video on it. That was the point that you just made that stuck out to me. The fact that Zelenskyy said that they had a good relationship and that he wanted to keep that relationship going. And then he said he had a good relationship with Putin. So if he can say that right beside the Ukraine president, and he don't have any, objections to it, why can't he get that deal done? I think he can. And just like he said, it
What
wouldn't
does that look
happen
like?
anyway
Like
if he was
what
still in.
what is a president that ain't got nothing to do with y'all? Got to do with making y'all stop fighting. Now, what does that look like?
I think that it
What's
has
the
something to
deal
do
that
with
needs to
it.
be made?
Because we're funding and arming it.
Well, he
Right.
wouldn't fund it if president was if Trump is the president, they're not getting any money.
Yeah, I think that they would. Okay, so here's the thing. I think that there's, first of all, we kind of overseeing what's going on with NATO, which is an alliance. And then it also is, it's a situation where the funding is not just coming from financial, it's also arms, it's also all of that type of stuff. Right? So we are in proxy wars where we're basically allocating resources, and that's one of the things that was a part of the immigration deal was
Mm-hmm.
holding us over a barrel and making sure that we continue to give them tens of billions of dollars in order to continue to fund the war, which is costing us a lot of money. And that's the thing. It's costing us a lot of money and it's straining relationships with other world leaders that's preventing us from being successful in other places, right? So when you see what's happening, the thing about it from us is that we're basically allocating, and it's not just costing us money with sending money to Ukraine, it's also all of the military resources that we given. It's costing us hundreds of billions of dollars a year to participate in these proxy wars. So we have a vested interest in ending it so that we have to no longer allocate resources over to those countries. The world has an interest in ending it because we don't want this to continue to escalate. We know that Russia has nuclear weapons, all of that, right? So we have an interest in ending it because we want, as Americans, our resources to go to us and not to other countries. So that's the short answer of it, I guess. The short.
But then you got to think. Then you got to think too. Did you see the meeting that Kamala had with him before he went to meet with Trump?
I know he
Like
said
he
that he
was.
met with both of them, but I didn't see what the
Yeah.
meeting.
So so the other day he was here because everybody had to be on overtime. So he met with her and she didn't say anything. You see how Trump is just talking and talking about, how to talk to them and how to end it. She just looked at him and was like, Putin could have stopped this. Putin didn't. So we're gonna keep funding him. We're gonna keep funding you. We're gonna hit them hard. We're gonna make sure he can't get in. He can't get into this. He can't get into that. He's not going to do this. Like there was no talk of trying to end it.
But
Like
I mean, them meeting with him is meaningless to me because they've already had a relationship with him throughout this entire administration anyway. So, them coming out together is really just, it's for the optics, you know?
yeah, it's for the media because the media keeps saying
Correct.
that Trump is against Ukraine, that he doesn't want to, like, remember when they kept pressing him
Yeah.
on do you want to see Ukraine win?
Yep.
That's what this is.
Yep. So, but here's the other key. Do we care as Americans, as a country?
We only care because we don't like them giving them billions of dollars of our money, and if Trump
Mhm.
this deal happen, it won't happen. Like he has a relationship with Putin, and Putin be like, "What's up, my nigga? You giving this bitch ass nigga fucking weapons and shit."
Well, here's the key though, Quentin. Here's my other question, because the major issues I think in this country is not things that people talk about that vote on the left, that vote for Democrats. They don't talk about the war in Ukraine. They don't talk about immigration. They don't talk about.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? The stuff that's really impacting us as a nation that drives up the cost of living, inflation, resources, all of that stuff. They don't talk about that stuff. They only talk about the superficial stuff. Black, woman, all of that
Giving
type
y'all
of stuff.
niggas
Right?
free shit to put you in debt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm wondering. Like, is it really going to move the needle? Are are people that vote for Kamala Harris, are they even tuned in to this type of content? Are they tuned into the type of content that would warrant a discussion about Zelensky?
Nope.
They are on the fact of that Trump, because right after, so Trump yesterday, before he met with them, said he was going to go meet with them. Immediately, the media right afterwards was like, "Oh, Trump is going to meet with the person that he said was stupid and doesn't know how to stop a war," because Trump had said something about that, I guess, at one of his rallies. And so they watch it from that aspect. They won't watch it from this point because the
I
media
don't.
doesn't show
I think you're
them.
giving the American people too much credit, Mika. I don't think that most people are even tuned in or are this informed.
Um, a lot are tuned in. They're not
No,
informed.
they're not.
They're
A lot of them are
missing.
stupid. A lot of them don't care. Like people don't care. Like people just I don't vote. Like I feel like more people don't vote than do.
Do you think that you are more informed, Quentin, in this election than ever before?
1000%.
Why do you think that you are?
Because y'all
Or how did you
niggas,
become more informed?
y'all, because the Millionaire More Than shows to turn up.
Really?
Oh man.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's where I get most of them. Then I go Google to make sure you ain't lying.
Oh my goodness. No, that is funny.
But that's tripped out. So you don't? Do you think that if you would have known, if you hadn't known me, that this was something that you would even be into at all whatsoever?
Because I didn't. No.
That's pretty
Only,
tripped
only
out.
like I started like really looking into politics when Trump was in office. And that's only because he kept saying dumb shit, and I thought it was entertaining. And then when Biden was in office, and it got a little bit like less talking shit, then I didn't really pay attention to nothing.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But then I was like, I probably need to figure this shit out because I'm getting old.
I think he can. I think he can broker a deal. I don't think that
I,
Russia want to be in this war no more. I don't think that.
What
I
what
mean,
is what is what does Russia have to gain by fighting Ukraine? Like, what do they want
land.
for what? You ain't got enough. You need some more.
well, I think that first and foremost, you got to look at um, how certain things is a launching point for them to go and push further into or push their agenda or influence certain things that happens in other countries. So I'll give you an example. If you take, we all talk about Taiwan, Taiwan, Taiwan. China is interested in Taiwan for multiple reasons. First, they're interested in Taiwan because Taiwan has technology and they're the cornerstone of semiconductor chips, which basically is power in the war, power in everything. It powers the world, it powers the wars, it powers technology, it powers a lot of things. But also on top of that, you got to look at international waters, staging points. You got to look at their strategic alliances and partnerships, right? You got to look at the fact that certain other countries then have access into that, which then makes it a national security risk. So there's layers to, you know what I'm saying, a lot of this stuff. But I think that in the case of Russia, it's also a staging point for a much bigger agenda that they want to push long term, right? And I don't think that Russia, to the Democrats' credit, okay, first, let me say that I don't like the fact that we are involved in this war at all. But to their credit, they have staved off a quick operation that Russia was predicting and taking over Ukraine. And largely that's as a result of us continuing to fund and push, even though hundreds of thousands and millions of people has died in this war anyway. I think that a lot of that is because of the funding of Americans and other countries and continuing to allow for Ukraine to leverage our resources to continue to push Russia back and now pushing them into their own country, right? So, to Democrats' credit, it hasn't been a quick war. And at the same time, that's to our detriment because we the ones that's continuing to fund it. So
But on top of that, it technically belonged to Russia, aka Soviet Union.
yeah. So
It's almost similar. Well, it's different, but similar in land and borders, and when you give people land that isn't theirs, like the war that they're fighting in the Middle East. I'll leave that there. But you get these type of wars, and America always seems to be in the middle of all of those.
yeah. So, anyways, there's a lot going on. But the further you get involved, the more you start to become informed, and the more you be like, I don't know why I was believing in this in the first place, or I wasn't interested in the first place. So,
I just don't want to spend my money. I just don't feel like spending my money on Ukraine. 800 million could have went, like, you can give everybody in America $1 million for that purpose. I
oh,
mean,
we spent way more than 800 million.
I know I'm saying, but I'm saying
Billion.
like for the year they've given this man like 800 million already.
We giving them billions
I believe it.
this year,
I believe.
billions, like
Oh,
tens of
okay,
billions
because
of dollars.
she tried to say it was like 800, 900 million or whatever, but nevertheless, even with billions, you could have, you could have gave every American $1 million for all that.
Let me tell you something. We have spent, we have sent estimated. I just looked it up. Since January
Yeah,
2022, we have pledged more than 380 billion
that's
and
ridiculous.
118 billion in direct military aid to Ukraine
That's crazy.
from in different countries. The United States has committed more than $52 billion in security assistance to support Ukraine to defend its efforts. Um, and this is according to CRS reports.congress.gov. So
That's horrible.
we've
So
spent
yeah,
we've spent billions, not million, billions with a B.
so therefore that's what I'm saying. Then you tally that up. Then you tally up the immigration. Like, everybody else gets money but you, and it's your money.